This is Margaret Ann Windsor, and this is me. My father's King Edward VIII. My mother is Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, married to my father, not the double that married an imposter. So I put this on the other tapes, but I was kidnapped and brought to Moulton, Alabama in '41, given the name of a twin, Peggy and Dempsey. I married Childers, and both twins were dead. And it was a pigsty. They were born out of wedlock, just like she is. So this gets into patterns that I'm not going to get into right at the moment. Her name's Simpson. I worked for the district attorney Simpson in '08 after I'd been filled full of antifreeze, and I had written a book on mind control about which Larry Flett was shot, and that was used, the shooter was programmed to shoot him. He supported me later in a political campaign and endorsed me, April the magazine of '84, and said that I had been made a pauper and that, well, I know who was responsible for his killing. In other words, the mechanism used in it. But I had gotten down here, I was reading about I'm allergic to chemicals, and the only way you inhale it. So there's no cure, so you have to get away from it. So when it's the room or the apartment you live in, and you've been compromised, your air conditioning unit, if the agency or law enforcement is big enough and people are afraid of them, they'll do anything, housekeeping to keep their jobs, unlike the Beverly Hills out there where they're boycotting and bringing attention to it because the Sultan of Brunei, and that's sad, and sad is what they've been doing to me for 75 years. By the way, he was shaking hands with Charles, who's illegal, Elizabeth's son. They're illegal. They're using my money, and they're shaking hands, and yet people think that they love Charles and Elizabeth, and now they're pointing fingers at the Sultan. Oh, you know, where am I in all this? I'm the real monarch that's been brought over here right in their back door, Obama and Michelle. And I'll go back to this because I was brought to... over time, if you're exposed to these chemicals and it's your home, I mean, it just tears you apart, your body down, your heart, your lungs, and your life is hell because I have lay here. Of course, they've force-fed mine where I've had to live. I mean, they just take one of the room or whatever apartment, and I'll go on, and it's deteriorated my whole body. I can't walk. I've begged them. Not one of them didn't know what they were doing. And they should be prosecuted, and that's the only way. Instead of using a gun, they've used chemicals and gotten away with it because the laws enforcement's involved in it. So I told you about Carl Barton, who brought me to Affordable. And Frida was kin to him. She, under the guise of helping me, took me to West, where they did the same thing. I mean, I don't just... when I get money, pay for a place to live and lose the deposit and everything, which they keep most of the time. But anyway, they're related, and he's a retired state trooper, and he took me to Affordable Corporate Suites, and stayed there for 17 months sucking it up, and when they brought me down, I'd been on Roanoke Mountain, and the Bartons did, and they were hosts there, and he's a retired state trooper. And somebody in the middle of the night poured fuel all over my tent, Sarah tent. I had to sit up the rest of the night, and the next day they brought me down to Affordable. It's owned by Lance Cooperman. He owns Extended Stays. He owns a bunch of these. And they've always known they engage the owner or the managerial, etc., to participate in this, and they do it. I'm getting whipped up on nothing's going to happen to them. I'm 75 years old now. I can hardly walk. I'd probably be carried out in a body bag. But anyway, Barton took me there, and I'm going to say it again. His wife took me down to Affordable. I stayed there 17 months. And her words to me when she was leaving was, this is how we make you move with chemicals. So they put the chemicals into wherever I'm at, and when I can't take any more or I'm dying, literally, I'll move, and then they just get me there, and then there, and so on and so on. So I began to wonder after then. She said, we're Americans, we're above the law. I began to wonder, were they responsible for putting the fuel on my tent that night? Because that put me in position for them to bring me down to affordable. Now then, the housekeeper, I'm just going to go ahead and name it and try to read here. I'm going to real quick. I'm at Corporate Suite Northern Drive, which is another one of his, and the same things happen. They don't stop it, and nobody's going to stop them, and they're hurting me. So I want to show you real quick Jennifer Singh, Edinburgh, to retirement. And you got Richfield retirement, and I don't believe I have the other. Richfield in Edinburgh, and there's Section 8 in Joseph's Way in Bedford, owned by Reverend Moore out of Washington, North Carolina, a black minister. He owns a whole bunch of them, so they're federally funded, so they also engage the law enforcement, the feds engage them. And he owns a whole bunch of them, so you can get that. When I'd finish it, you'd have to go back to the other tape to get the gist of it. Ron Sizer of Troutville, which I found out by Googling. You can Google these people. You should see what he did to me out there. I got Richfield, and that's Allison that's manager. That's a retirement, elderly, Section 8. Salem, Roanoke, Vinton here. Edinburgh retirement. In '06 I stayed there. Same thing done in all these places. Joseph Stream, Brenda Ellis. And most of these are still there. Now then, and Gene Croft is still manager at Affordable there, where I was taken in '09 by the state trooper. And now I'm here at Affordable on Northern Drive in Salem, which is the same thing. And same thing's going on, only I'm just about dead. And it does no good to try to talk to them. They're going to come in. They've even come in at all these places when I'm not even in the room or the place, and they soak my bedding. And I have no money or place to go. I don't have a car anymore. I'm a hostage. And I was going to put down here night before last, or Sunday night. And she knows this. The manager here is at Corporate Northern Drive, Affordable Corporate. They're all part of the same Affordable Corporate Suites. It's Debbie McKay. And Beth is the housekeeper. They both know I have begged them not to soak me in the chemicals that I'm allergic to them. And they're bad that they have brought in here, but they come in anyway. I gave her a letter Sunday night through the door, the manager, because you can't talk to her. It's hard. It would be hard to beg when someone's pointing a gun at your head and they know they're killing you, and you beg them not to. So anyway, in response to that, Beth came. Well, anyway, a mess happened yesterday, and I lay in here last night, and I've got shingles from all this, the stress, the doctor told me. When I moved in here, I got it. I moved in on the 3rd of April, and I should have been over it. I took all the medicine, and instead she came in, and I don't know what they did in here. And I had to call the doctor. I was in so much pain and from it all. And she gave me another one. It's supposed to, I had it written down, and I don't have it now. It's when you've got shingles, it causes nerve damage and pain. And so you can't get well until the chemicals are stopped. And also I'm on medicine for the inflammation and for my reaction to chemicals. So I'm losing my body parts, and my life has been hell. And right now, last night, I can't get into here. This tape's going to run out. What they're doing to me. I'm paying them to get chemicals used on me.